1,000 years ago, the train before and behind, out beyond the low defile, soft feet on sand, cinches scraping. The desert is merciless. It takes everything from you. At evening, the cat knelt by a fire at the center of the oasis, paw on glinting hilt. I don't like sand. It's coarse and rough and irritating, and it gets everywhere. Long live leaving. Mexico is Thanatos. The jungle rustling against the speeder. If the buzzing jungle speaks its soul to you, if your cock drops off from ayahuasca, you will have reached your destination. The service station at Markham Moor, the white light that is allness, way down south between death and life, to York, to Alnwick, we moved as all lovers move. Lorry drivers, if return were possible, what might we have carried south into the cabaret of destruction? A manifest, string beans, cheese in the lost world, the old right world records. But in the broken world, almond croissants to patisserie Valerie, arena of death. The grand mechanism of love, all the attempts to love differently, fennel, we carried the irrefutable fact that this loving doesn't work. Light loofah, mattresses, heavy with the manifold accoutrements of love, ginger, normal vegetables. When you have learnt to love while relinquishing control, when you affirm the commingling bodies in collaborative jouissance, in loving kindness, in the multi-faith prayer room, myself working, myself loving, on the sand, the softened sound, breeze, light, and a flash on the water in Odessa, in the service station, feeling the paradigm begin to flex around us. This, then, was the junction for Burning Man. This, the seat of our loving. In the gelid rock pools and up scrubby escarpment, the cannibal geckos fucking in the open. The blank world their quiet bower, while a silent meteor flares overhead, a rocket exploding. Rich England, sheep clipped tilth all along the A1. The last drop of the morning's cloudburst off of the windscreen as the dashboard twinkled. The services approached. Clear, clean, generous joy in loving and in the careless receiving. The moments immediately preceding the first morning of the first test match of the summer. The brassy knell of love parked up at the Little Chef. The first morning of the first test match of the summer in perpetuity. An unteleological love and its return. A more mutual lying together. On the sunlit uplands, the service station, the dogging circle, or a freedom that's not had the patriarchy stitched into it. Everyone bundled together on the uterine beach. The right-wing astronauts on the International Space Station having their minds blown, falling in love at 17,150 miles per hour, like in a murder mystery, as in a rom-com. The sunlit uplands, the glowing A1 passed through in a cutting, through the quickening shade at evening, as the fields lost their colour beside that still roaring dell. Hatfield, Thanatos. Welwyn Garden City, Thanatos. Stevenage, Thanatos. Baldock, Thanatos. Letchworth Garden City, Thanatos. Huntingdon, Thanatos, Peterborough, Thanatos, Grantham, Thanatos, Newark-on-Trent, Thanatos, Retford, Thanatos, Doncaster, Thanatos, Leeds, Thanatos, Harrogate, Thanatos, York, Thanatos, Ripon, Thanatos, Darlington, Thanatos, Durham, Thanatos, Gateshead, Thanatos, Newcastle, Thanatos, Alnwick, Thanatos, and Berwick, Thanatos. Cold aurochs in the lay-by, Emil Bergson on the prairie for one reason, and Frank Shabata there to die also. The Great Plains and orgiastic futurity, the mountains of Mexico, utopian congresses, coupling on the hillocks at Zabriskie Point, Emil's erotothanatos, this natural and abundant gift, the universal life force without design or purpose. The last session of the last test. You will have reached and you will have fallen short. Upon leaving, those things which you had intended to discover will have become obscured. Your desires as you near your destination, the charnel house within, live among the creatures of the night in the oasis of hypnagogy. Purgatory, the penetrating key upon the supplicating lock. Relations without epiphanies. It's 2:30 and PCs Barry and Keith are on the road between Retford and Newark-on-Trent, sad and sweet from loving without coercion. Or, says Keith, those who would love generously but not indiscriminately. The lonely drivers, plummy horse transporter, one carrying lizards to the safari park, one with mattresses bound for what pinched ecstasies, how many death rattles. In the squad car, both are lonely. The private ambulance carrying the dead, loose yamas on the hard shoulders. I'm a French teacher on the road near Ripon. I am glad, at the end of the day, that my desire is bounded. On the A1, I'm the guy with the lizards, thinking about how he'd seen growing up as accumulation, not counted on losing bits of yourself that won't be there for the next blunder. I wish I'd done this or that, he thinks, but I've never been less of a human than I am now, dropping back from the peloton and out of sight. Mattress driver as the lorry tips. At last, the end of the evacuated life. Just like hot desking is unequivocally an oppression, no sex is communal. A lonely passing through, the term between Welwyn and Letchworth. Somewhere near the road, the police equine trainer moved from one room into another to find you stretched out on the bed, all body and person. One driving sees the relentless ordering of life about desire, run, slowly try. You step out of the paradigm. Hard to know who could think that there could be a utopian lovemaking, though one upon the wind turbine remains so sure the high airs still delight. All the animals around the A1 will be connected as if by an airy net, as if the ponies humping in the fields will become a thingful beingness in the open, while Count Elmo Mancini burns to death forever, tumbling in his Ferrari. Ah, the flapping flesh, felicita. Oh, the clacking bones, felicita, felicita. A phone call you weren't expecting, a glass of wine and a sandwich, our simple coitus, a pizza in the moonlight by the piazza, a conception on holiday, the red glare of Betelgeuse and Tares upon our glistening backs. Could we learn it of the green world? Love outside the hierarchy. The sacred mingling at the cocktail party, administered by the ghastly goddess. The seasons will turn the vegetables in the fields, rise up and fall back. Fingers around the balled up soul will bring up marrows from the seed, throw up nourishing radishes, rhizomes from love's wild garden, from the undifferentiated flow and slither of a love unmanaged before the lowing milkers. Habaneras, the yearning hymns of death. He throws carousels, a turning mask in the wild woods. La Habana se llama Thanatos. Thanatos. The many low-impact British fascists returning from Spain and their ecstatic communion. The continuous future of the animate natural world. Love in the literal and figurative darkness, each dark to the others. Thelma and Louise, though the loving continues. Like lights flickering on and off across the city, beginning and quickly, less quickly finishing. From the police helicopter, leaving Viva Las Vegas. Sat-nav, the traces of the tracks at the closing off of the prairie. Erotothanatos. And in the orgasmic super freedom of the plain, the azure skies, Mr. Casaubon in the Vatican. The distant dusty tracks, small footsteps already half erased. My love alone at the edge of the world in the apocalypse.